All right, so a new format is starting, but it's looking very similar to the last one as well. However, some cards started to go up in price, and today we're going to talk about all of those that you have to get before it's too late. I do want to start this video off by stressing that please do not buy into some of the hype. Mainly, I'm talking about Nemesis cards, all of them, because why is Protoss like almost $50? And Colossus as well, I guess, other Nemesis cards. Just wait for some reprints. You do not have to jump immediately and buy every single card that is like 3 or 4 times the price right now. But today I'm gonna bring some cards to light that I do feel like you have to be picking up as soon as possible. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and also share your thoughts in the comments and drop some of your own ideas about cards we have to be picking up. So let's go ahead and get started with the first card. I think it's fairly obvious that it's Relinquished Anima. All of us are looking to good link ones right now. You can also play Almirage if you want, but Anima is just nice because it's also a dark at the same time, which, is helpful in going into dark, etc. Although you can still do that with Diabellstar, but what you need is just a link one. And its effect is actually really nice. You can also utilize it with Zealantis and do all of that, or just bank on your opponent making some mistakes and summoning into the Anima zone, because it still happens, believe it or not. As for the price, it's about €6 here or $9. So yeah, for one random link one that hasn't had a reprint for quite some time, you're spending almost $10. So I would get onto that as soon as possible and just secure some copies, or at least one, of Anima. Moving on, I want to talk about Sanctifier. It kind of breaks my heart to talk about Sanctifier, if I'm being real, because why is the lock still legal? But, taking all of that out of the equation and just thinking about Sanctifier as a card by itself, it's actually really, really nice, especially because, it promotes skillful gameplay. If you utilize it not for the lock, you can actually do quite a lot, taking resources out of your opponent's graveyard, just utilizing some of your own cards, like Albas and stuff like that, for the purpose it's meant to be used at. So together with Sanctifier, and, Fusion Summoning. But the card itself is becoming more expensive as we speak. It is around €16 right now, or almost $46. And I want to emphasize something again. I never convert on my videos. So these prices are not euros to dollars or vice versa, but it's always card market and TCG player. So you can make the best choices which market you want to buy from. But it's almost $50. That's actually insane. It's just very reminiscent of how Quem immensely spiked, and now the price just has not cooled off at all. So if you're trying to play branded, if you maybe don't have Sanctifier yet, or if you got rid of it because you felt like it's gonna get banned or something like that, just get it as soon as possible, because it's going to be a really vital part of your strategy if you want to play branded. Moving on to the next card, I actually want to talk about Crystal Wing. Look, I get that Crystal Wing is not Savage. It is a little tougher to make, and it's not an Omni-Negate that's just so easily accessible in every single deck because of its, requirements for the summon. You do have to use a Synchro Monster. That's not ideal. However, I have seen Crystal Wing be utilized in quite a lot of decks in recent years, so I feel like if you really want to make it work, you can. And it is still a really, really cool card, but again, not an Omni-Negate, just a Monster Negate. It is not ideal. I think it's just the best we can do right now. As for the price, it is around €5 here, or $6 for the lowest price, for the lowest copy, and all of the copies are going up. So I just wanted to talk about this before it spikes to $10 or $15 or something like that, and it's just really a hassle to get. So that's it for Crystal Wing. As for the next couple of cards, I do say couple of cards because I'm talking about the Horus package. By itself. The most expensive card naturally is Imseti, and Imseti is around €49 or $56 right now. So not the cheapest card to get. However, I just feel like Horus has so much potential, and I've talked about this at length on the channel. I do believe in this archetype, and I just think it's gonna become better post the ban list. There are versions with Orcas, you can do stuff with Lightsworn, and I think it's really, really interesting. You can maybe try to like work on some kind of Horus Dragon variants, Bestial variants still, if you find some actual good boss monsters to go into. There's still ways of utilizing some Xyz monsters, and just overall, Horus does put quite a lot of pressure on the board, so in my opinion, Horus engine is kind of nice to have if you're willing to spend the money, because yeah, it's not the cheapest. So you can decide for yourself. I just wanted to talk about it before the prices become too extreme. Next up, we have the Abelstar. Now, this one, I just wanted to mention it because it's literally almost at the same exact price point as Wanted, which started to go down, but the Abelstar started to go up in price. And if you remember, it was around 18 to 19 euros. At least that's the price I got it for, if I remember correctly. And now it's 33 euros or $47. So not amazing. But what we got from this ban list is pretty much a guarantee that we're going to be able to play the fire decks for the foreseeable future. So if that's something that you want to do, I figured I would talk about the Abelstar just to, you know, make you notice it and say you better get it as soon as possible if you don't own it already. Now, as for the next card and the last card on today's list, actually, it is going to be Thrust. I wanted to talk about Thrust because, like, I get that it's not amazing. If you look at both versions, both printings, they're almost at the exact same price. And that's not something we really anticipated when the Maze of Millennia reprint was announced. But a lot of times this happens. It also happened with Talent before it got an actual like accessible reprint, which I do think is going to happen with Thrust, but I have a feeling it's gonna be towards the like later half of the year, not right now. I don't think we're getting a Thrust reprint immediately after Maze of Millennia. So yeah, it is 41 euros, $48. Not amazing, but you still need to consider that you're pretty much spending like almost $150 for a playset of a card that I think is going to be extremely useful in this next format. We need to think about the lack of Omni Negates, which of course that's a fact, meaning that some of the going second cards are going to be much more impactful. And very conveniently, you can search a lot of these cards with Thrust. They are all accessible through Thrust, and you do need to spend the money, but your board breakers are not expensive. If you look at Lightning Storm evenly, like they are not $50 cards anymore. So I don't know, it's kind of like you have to decide for yourself. It's also going to depend on which deck you play. If you run Branded, I definitely suggest you run Thrust. And yeah, you know, you need to look at your engine and see how many actual good search targets you have in engine as well. So you can decide for yourself, of course, just like with any card on today's list. But I do want to bring them to light and, you know, make you guys notice some changes on the market so you can be ahead of the curve and not spend a huge amount of money. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, and like it if you did. Of course, share your thoughts in the comments as well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!